Did you know that when swiping your touchscreen in your GR86 or BRZ is actually less effective at altitude? I didn't know either, until I took the past couple days to go through this rather robust owner's manual that came in my 2023 BRZ and cycled through all these other documents that were stuffed in the glove box when I bought it new. So stay tuned throughout this video. I'm going to go through some pretty neat maintenance items that you may or may not have been tracking, some very odd features, and then, of course, the glorious hidden features. Let's get to it. All right, let's start off with item number one. Item number one is auto-locking fuel door. So this may not be anything new to you all. Auto-locking fuel doors are relatively common. It's the feature when you hit the key fob, you lock the door of the car. It also locks the fuel door, and that's a little safety device so people don't siphon your gas in the middle of the night and then you wake up and you can't get to work or whatever you want to do. What's interesting about this auto-locking fuel door is that here we are on page 227 of the owner's manual. There is actually a little hidden compartment inside your trunk. You remove a small panel, and within that there's a little yellow lever that you push, and sure enough, if you ever have that locking fuel door malfunction, or say the car battery dies and you got to get some gas in it or whatever, you can go through the trunk, click the little lever, and then voila, it opens. Okay, so this next one, I had to go pretty deep within the owner's manual. And this brings up another question. Can you guess the cargo capacity of the BRZ or GR86? The actual amount, 800 pounds. 800 pounds, and all this data is found on page 403 of your owner's manual. It actually provides some pretty nice little math problems just in case you couldn't figure it out, so you bust capacity. But what's most interesting about this math problem is that you have to include the driver and passenger weight on this. And what I mean is that 800 pounds is your total cargo capacity. So if you have 4 200-pound individuals within your BRZ or GR86, you're already at the max capacity. You add yourself a cup of coffee, you're in trouble. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, before we go on to the next item on this epic list, just ask if you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, please go ahead and hit the like. And if you do want to see more from Conquer Roads and myself in the future, please hit the subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. Thanks. Okay, next up on the owner's manual, page 100, we're going to discuss locking and unlocking the doors. Doesn't sound like a novel concept, that's because it's not, but have you ever been in the situation with your BRZ or GR86 where sometimes all the doors in the trunk unlock, but sometimes just the driver door? Well, there's a reason for it, again, explained on page 100 of the owner's manual. When you approach your car and you use the unlocking feature when you just touch the handle, not the key fob, it's just going to unlock the driver's door and the fuel door. Conversely, when you come from the passenger side, when you touch the handle, it's going to unlock both the passenger and the driver door, the fuel door, and the trunk. That's why that happens. On the topic of oil, can anybody riddle me this? The two little dots that are on the post of your oil dipstick. Can you tell me how much oil it takes to take it from the lower dot, which is low oil, to the top dot, which is full oil? Some of you guys got it right. The answer is 1.1 US quarts. So just a hair over what you buy in the store, not too bad. Once again, continuing on the oil train, we're going to talk about the frequency that you guys should be switching out your oil. So according to this handy guide, so yet another book that came in your glove box when you bought it from Subaru or Toyota, the interval, which is actually has a pretty cool matrix here. It's got the interval. A little chart, it says 6 months or 6,000 miles is what you should be doing as far as proper maintenance. Now, there are some examples of severe driving conditions where this manual says you should switch it on 3,000 miles. And these examples of severe driving are repeated short distance driving. So if you've got a couple mile commute to work, you might want to consider doing it at 3,000 miles. And then this one's interesting to me. Driving in extremely cold weather. So that demands, per this manual here, that you switch out your oil 3,000 miles or 3 months. And then last but not least, repeated trailer towing. Repeated trailer towing in your BRZ or GR86. I'm not making this up. It's right there. Last item on the list. So I find this a little bit humorous. One, I'd love to see a BRZ or a GR86 actually towing something. And then there are multiple instances within these books that say, do not tow anything with your BRZ or GR86 because it wasn't designed for it. All right, so next I'm gonna go ahead and fire off 5 fun facts. So a lot of these are numerical, so we're just gonna go straight through them. Fun facts that are pretty interesting. Maybe you knew, maybe you didn't know. Let me know in the comments. Let's see. Number 1, the low fuel light comes on when you have 1.8 US gallons left in the fuel tank. What do you think, about 30, 40 miles? So that's number 1, found on page 33 of your owner's manual. Number 2, the sensor for your climate control. So the automatic climate control, you know, that middle knob within your interior for the air conditioning. The little sensor that feeds that temperature is near the ignition start button on your interior. That is page 200 of your owner's manual. Next up, icy road warning. We don't get that a lot here in Hawaii, but many moons ago I had a Subaru in some cold places, so it'll come on all the time. When that icy road warning light comes on, it is 37 degrees Fahrenheit or 3 degrees Celsius or lower. That is page 151 of the owner's manual. Next up, and this one's pretty good, if you have an implanted pacemaker, implanted, not external, implanted pacemaker, you must stay at least 8.7 inches away from the vehicle's transmitting antennas. Otherwise, it's bad news. I would say perhaps grave news. Luckily for us, you can disable the keyless entry. That is found on page 103 of your owner's manual. And then lastly, on the quick fun facts for your GR86 and BRZ, on the topic of keyless entry, keep the key fob, at least 6.6 feet away from the vehicle when you have it parked. Otherwise, the battery will drain. Don't get danger close. That's page 96 of the owner's manual. Probably to the moment everybody's been waiting for, we are going to discuss the hidden features. So I'm sparing you from what I consider are the generally known hidden features, at least now that the car has been out for a few years. I'm just going to talk about the ones that kind of surprised me, and hopefully they'll surprise you. Number 1, navigation display in the dash. I saw this on the message forums. I was blown away. I had no idea that aside from my Apple CarPlay, showing where I was going, that I could actually switch around in the actual display on the dash, and it'll give me the step-by-step instructions with a handy little Nintendo 8-bit looking arrow. So that's number 1. Number 2, probably well known, but I'm going to make sure my viewers do know this because it's key. There is a 12-volt plug in the glove box. So gone are the days relatively of the cigarette lighter, but if you've got a radar detector or you want to feed off that 12-volt source for a dash cam, that's a good place to get it. When we move on to number 3, vehicle finder function. Man, that's a great one. Pull out of the owner's manual. You guys may have used this before, maybe you didn't know the actual terminology, but when you press lock on your fob 3 times within 5 seconds, your cars get a beep, boop, the horn goes off and the lights flash. Number 4, and this is quite possibly the most impressive thing. The windshield wiping fluid is dispensed via 3 nozzles. Not 2 like average, not 1 like a motorcycle, but 3. And when I did the math, that makes this car, the BRZ and the GR86, have 76 horsepower per nozzle. That's impressive. That's an impressive number. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the big list. So I'm going to, boom, close this little BRZ owner's manual, place all these items to the side, and I will say thank you very much for giving my little channel here a watch and the video. If you guys enjoyed it, please feel free to hit the like. If you want to see more, I'll be publishing more items every 2 or 3 weeks, something like that, on my BRZ or other travel items for Conquer Roads. So please hit the subscribe if you do want to see more. You hit the little bell if you want to get notified. I think you guys know the drill. So thank you once again. It's been really fun. I hope you guys got something out of this video. And between now and then, just drive safe and keep on keeping on. We'll see you. I'm out.